Hello everyone, my name is Carmen Tiano and I'm joined by Graham. He's one of our virtual CIOs. Welcome to the Manitoba Lunch and Learn. Today's program is about improving your team's productivity. And there's a lot of different ways to do that, but I want to kind of give you a little background. We have a lot of customers that we support and a lot of business owners and C-level executives that we talk to. And the number one thing that keeps them up at night or they complain about is the fact that there's a feeling that they've invested all this money into IT solutions and technology. I think the word used was boatloads, and they're not leveraging it to the full extent. So they want to get more out of what they already have. And so the purpose of this event, and there'll be a series of them because there's many other topics to go over, but it's to really shed some light on what you already have and ways that you can use it to improve productivity. So there's no greater culprit in business in terms of underutilization in this day and age than Microsoft 365. Overwhelming majority of businesses have it. What percentage of use do you think most businesses are getting out of it? 50, 40? Try 20%, Graham. So this right here, just to give you a snapshot, is what's available. If you're running Office 365 or Microsoft 365, excuse me, I might slip up a few times because I've been calling it that for so many years. This is what makes up a standard subscription. You'll get the majority of these applications. There's an add-on subscription, you get that. But most companies that we've found are leveraging just these here. And they're using it for licensing Microsoft Office, maybe Outlook, Microsoft Teams, and some have decided to use some of the communication tools. But the advanced stuff is really only things that we see really being used well in enterprise. So our mission today, and moving forward, is to bring some of these features down to the SME and show small businesses some simple ways that they can be using them to be more effective. So before I turn it over to you, Graham, I want to ask you just a question. There's a lot of different communication mediums out there now. So there's Outlook for email, there's your mobile devices, Android, Mac, whatever, Apple, whatever you're using. Microsoft Teams for chat. When you commit to do something, or someone commits to do something to you, for you, or you know that you have it to do something, how do you capture that at the moment?
Well,
let's say it's...
You just said it. I used to do.
Well, how do you think most people capture it at the moment?
Well, I mean, I know that the most popular tool for your average person working in business is Outlook. They're going to use their Outlook calendar. They're going to get an email in, they're going to see something that's there and go, I've got to deal with that. And they'll go to the laptop and they're going to create a calendar, or they're going to see something will come up in a meeting and they'll go, okay, I need to make time to deal with that. And they'll go into Outlook and they'll create some time for themselves so that by the end of each week, their Outlook calendar, particularly if you're like me and you use it and you color code everything, it looks like an explosion in a Skittles factory. So, and that can be quite overwhelming when you go in on a Monday morning or any morning and has my calendar saying, oh, Jesus. Right, okay, yeah, that it doesn't look healthy. I don't think it endears anybody to go to work when you're looking at that. So you need to find another way.
I got to make a confession. Not too long ago, and this is actually something that is still being done by many executives, business owners, is when someone would commit to have a deliverable for me in an email or in a phone call, depending on the medium, I would whip out one of these things. Now, are any of you using these here in their business? Because I got to tell you, these things should be illegal. They should be, how there's metal detectors at airports? They should have sticky note detectors in businesses, because these things can do more damage to a business than any metal that you can bring in, believe me. And when I say that, just the risk alone that these create from people that are documenting things that they shouldn't be documenting on them and hiding from you. And by the way, under the keyboard is no longer, they figured that out. So they got sneakier places for them. But just risk, and also lost productivity and collaboration. Using these things are one of the most harmful things that business can do. And a few years ago, I gotta admit, I was using it, and I was also using emails left in my inbox as a trigger to tell myself that there was a deliverable on that. And sometimes I couldn't even remember what the deliverable was, and I had to dig through the email and try to put context back onto that, and it was a huge time sink. Not anymore. So today we're going to focus on two apps, Microsoft To Do and Microsoft Planner. And just to give you a little, before I turn it over to Graham and take you into greater detail, Microsoft To Do is really geared towards the individual. It's for organizing yourself. It's what I used to eliminate some of the scenarios that I talked about earlier. And we're going to show you that. But Planner would be a version, it's a more advanced version of To Do that you can use for managing people in your company and managing the tasks that they all do. So I'd like to turn it over to you, Graham. You can take us through that.
Okay, I'll just start. I mean, I came in and I saw those sitting on the desk, and the blood ran cold. I remember using them myself, and they'll put the password on the sticky note and put it up there, and yeah, that's perfectly secure. But yeah, so I mean, To Do and Planner are, I mean, you'd ask the question of why they both exist. They both sound the same, they both sound like they do the same thing. If you'd like to think of To Do as your to-do list that you would put on your sticky notes, and have a lot of them stuck to the wall, and these are the order I'm going to do it in. Whereas Planner sits somewhere between that and Microsoft Project. Microsoft Project being a much larger product, but Planner is still something that you want to keep track on a day-to-day basis of not only what you're doing, but what your team is doing. So for your to-do, you come in the morning and you've got your list, but that doesn't tell you what's on each of your team members' lists. Whereas with Microsoft To Do, not only does it allow you to see the to-do list of the people who are working on the same tasks that you are, but it actually allows you to assign them. So imagine you're using your sticky note and you're talking to a developer across in Singapore, and you go, okay, that's a good one in a meeting when you write it down in a sticky note. And you're sticking that sticky note on your screen. Well, with Microsoft To Do, at the same time, you're sticking it on his. And he's going, okay, yeah, that's great, and I've got that. And it's not going to get lost. And what's more, every to-do note that you create is a task. It's a task that you can add various subtasks to. You can specify, well, okay, take, for example, I've got a team of VCTOs who go out on site and who perform alignments with their customers. Now, the task is to go out and perform the alignment. But obviously there's a lot more involved in that. So when they create their task, they would have the specific steps that are part of that task. I can see what those steps are because they've assigned me to it, because when they're finished with their alignment, it has to come to me, I've got to cover a report, and we can work together on getting that going. I'm notified when they complete each step in the task. They know that I'm seeing it. They will know that the last step in that task is me reviewing that report, and they'll see a little checkbox from that stuff, and that's the task. They can make it a recurring task. Try getting a recurring sticky note. That would disappear fast.
You know what the problem with sticky notes is? I can tell you. So myself personally, it was not that was for mainly not electronic communication. So if someone called me and I was on the phone with them, and I knew that I committed to do something, or it would either be a calendar appointment I'd create for myself, or if I was at my desk, I would never write anything in secure, like confidential. It was always just, and they were stuck all over and whatnot. But what I do now, and I've actually shown a lot of my colleagues to do, is if you capture anything that you capture in To Do, is you are reminded of it, not by just pop-ups, but the best part is if you start to capture the stuff in Microsoft, their platform, their AI will remind you of things that you committed to do and not actually done. So let me give you an example. Perfect example. This happens all the time. As people start to adopt Microsoft Teams as a communication platform with their team, we're in a group chat the other day, and I committed to do something to one of my accounting team here in the form of chat. But I had not captured it in my to-do list or anywhere. I don't use sticky notes anymore, but anywhere. But I was reminded by the Microsoft email, the AI, hey, you use some language that it appears that you committed to do something for someone and haven't done it. Where are you at on this? And I got to tell you, it saved my butt a few times. So.
Yes, it can be rather disconcerting. I compare it to your mother reading your diary every day and reminding you what it is that you used to do back in the days when we had homework assignments, and your mum, before you went to bed each night, would read your homework assignment and go, you didn't do that, and would quote back exactly what you said. This is what Cortana does now by sending you this Viva email in the morning. And what's really good about it is that this mother won't tell you the next day that you didn't do your homework. She'll wait 4 days. By the way, 4 days ago, you committed to, and we'll quote this back to you.
Yeah.
And you can literally just click on that there and then. It'll take you to the email that you sent it in. It'll take you to the Teams conversation that it came up in. You can go, actually, sorry, I did deal with that. I just didn't mark it off, and you can go completed, or you can flag it. And you have a way of dealing with it there and then, and it's one of those things that I'm glad you brought it up, because for me, one of the key elements of to-do, what I really find useful is I'm one of these people who organizes everything in folders within Outlook. So I try to keep my core inbox as empty as possible, so that when I walk in the morning, okay, well, I've got the explosion in a paint factory in the calendar. But my inbox is empty. I'm not scaring myself. I'm only looking at what was there yesterday or my flagged items. But because I have a tendency to move items from my core inbox into these folders, I can't see the flags when I log in the morning. So since I started using To-Do, one of the elements that you have in To-Do is the ability to see flagged emails. It is synced directly with your Outlook. And one of the core items in To-Do is this flagged emails. And you can see all of the items that you have flagged. You can click on them to take you back again to the email and see what it was about. But in my case, what it does is it reminds me that there are 25 flagged items there. I have actually dealt with 23 of them. And I can just go, yep, done, 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 done. Remind me, what was that again? Oh, yes. And I click on it. And there it is. And it's not just linked into Outlook. It's linked into Teams. So you can be sitting having a conversation in Teams. And how many times have you done it? That you're there on Teams and somebody says that there's something that needs to be done. You go, that's really good. You write it down on your notepad or on your sticky note, or you do whatever you're going to do with it. And you go, that's great. And then you come around to the team meeting the following week and they go, no, so what did you do about that particular item? And you go, what particular item? Oh yeah, I remember that. With To-Do, when you put that in chat, when somebody mentions it, when somebody sends you a link to something for you to look at, you can right-click on that in Teams, and you can create a task there and then that goes into To-Do. Now you're not forgetting it. Now it's coming back. You can, while you're sitting there on the Teams meeting, you can specify, remind me about this 2 days from now, 3 days from now, a specific date. And it's there. It's not a sticky note. It's not something that's gotten buried in the pile of paper that you normally write on. It's there.
And I treat it now as, the way I look at it is, for me, To-Do is the hub in which I capture all of the action items for myself and also people for me. So when I'm on the road and I know that I need to do something, I'm an iPhone user, but it works the same for Android. I have a Siri shortcut, meaning that I just hold down the button on my phone and say add task or add To-Do or whatever I choose that wording to be, and it goes right into my To-Do. So no matter what the communication medium, it's captured. And the best part is you have mom reminding you of what you've committed to do or what people have, because that was the biggest challenge for me, I gotta tell you, is not just what I've committed to do, it's what people, so they would send an email to me telling me they were gonna do something. And then I would leave that in my inbox or flag it, knowing that that was a follow-up item that I had to do. But it was a nightmare, made Outlook unmanageable, and it was just a spaghetti mess. And so I would encourage everyone out there to really take a look at this.
Well, where I find it really convenient, and again, as somebody who does that and who tries to keep their inbox as empty as humanly possible, when you flag an item in your email now, using To-Do, you can flag that item. You can go into To-Do, and you can go to that flagged item. You can create a task that is there in to-do. Mom's going to remind you of it every few days until such time as you deal with it. But you can delete the email. It's there. Your email inbox isn't jamming up. You're not filling up, the paltry terabyte that Microsoft gives you of free space with Microsoft 365. All of a sudden, that terabyte becomes huge when nobody is storing email in it. It's there in tasks. And what's really cool about those tasks, and we talked about the difference between to-do and planner, is that to-do is dealing with your day-to-day and what you're dealing with. But obviously, your day-to-day, you are part of a team. So when you come across a task, there are certain tasks that are going to be part of larger projects, larger teamwork. You can take that task and you can put it into planner. And you can use that as the beginning of a plan, or adding a task into an already existing plan. You can assign other team members into that. You can assign, as we said earlier, team members to steps on your task. They can add their own in. And it just expands it out another step. And it's on your phone.
Yeah.
It's in your email. You can go into any format that you like to feel comfortable seeing these tasks. You can create a sidebar in Outlook that has all of the tasks in it. You can have it come up on your phone. One of my favorite features is the My Day Today page in To Do. Now, so what's that?
Lovely.
You wake up in the morning, you take out your phone, or you open your laptop, and you go into To Do. And it sees your 25 tasks that you have. You can select them, and you can drag and drop them across into Today. So now that's the page that you look at on your phone, in your To-Do, on your app or your web or whatever it is that you're looking at it. And they're your tasks for today. Now, you might get to all of them, you might clear them out, you might not. But when you come back tomorrow morning, today is a new day. You're faced again with whatever tasks you have remaining, whatever ones you've added,
You get to plan it.
and again, you get to plan out your day again. This is what I'm going to deal with today. It doesn't slap you across the back of the head and tell you didn't do that yesterday and leave you feeling bad about it first thing in the morning. It goes, these are the tasks that you have outstanding. And which ones do you want to deal with?
So, I mean, the best part, I got to tell you, one of the best parts for me, anyways, is a lot of some of these more advanced tools, like some of the stuff you're talking about, project management, Microsoft Project. You need to be like a PMP or have a certain level of project management. What I enjoy best about using the to-do component for managing myself and my day is awesome. But if I need to delegate tasks or have others involved on our team, is having just an overview of where third parties are at the specific tasks that we're all at. And you don't have to have a project management degree to use this. It's very easy, and it's tied into your workflow and what you're already doing. So I don't know, how do you find that has changed the way that you do things with some of the team in Nano and working with our customers?
And again, because I'm using To Do, when I come in the morning, I know and I can decide for that day what it is I'm going to do. What happened yesterday, what happened in the past week, doesn't matter. There's always going to be days and weeks that you didn't get to the things that you wanted to do, but they remain in your task list. Lets you know that you're still there. Mom's going to tap you on the shoulder with the email in the morning and let you know, look, this is a day overdue, or this is 4 days to go until that has to be dealt with, or whatever it is that she decides to tell you. I can see that. I can compare that to what the other guys in the team are doing. I can look at Planner. I can see where they stand, what they've got, how their day is going to go. I can see what I'm assigned to on their Planner, on their To-Do. They can see the same from mine. It opens up a lot more communication among the team. I find that we end up with better collaboration using Teams. And we live in a world now where we were all in one office before, and you could just walk from one office to the other, and people are always there, and if you talk about something, you can talk about it. But now that's not always possible. There are people who are working from home, there are people who are out on the road. Things get lost, you can't have proper communication.
Can't stick a sticky note on
Can't
your
stick a
colleague's
sticky
screen or on their desk.
There it is. So how do you deal with that? Well, through utilizing the likes of Teams, using To Do to create tasks out of Teams conversations. I mean, I try as much as possible to get on a phone call to maintain that human touch wherever I can with the guys who are at home or on the road. But I do those calls through Teams so that I can still, if something comes up, I can go into the discussion notes on that call and I can create a to-do item there and then. I can assign me to it, I can assign the other person on the call to it. If there's somebody else who needs to be aware of it who isn't on the call, I can assign them. I can put extra information in on the particular task so that they know what it is. They can contact me back again through Teams, through Planner. They can add it into theirs. I can see their calendars. I can see what they're doing. And everything just seems to work better as a team by having that control over what I'm doing. Nobody's getting overwhelmed because I'm not, I've got 25 tasks and I have to do them all today. Opening Outlook and seeing red flags. Wow, I'm just going to close that again and pretend that's not happening and I'll go do something else. When you have that choice, as you have in to choose what you're going to do today, you can compare that to what you've got in Planner, how that works with the team. There are certain times that you'll have to-do items that have got to be finished by Wednesday because he's got to take over. But it turns out that the other guy who's also assigned to that task, well, he's out on site or he's doing whatever he's doing until Friday. So, actually, that'll wait till Thursday because something else has come up today. Or vice versa, you can look, I've got an hour today. I planned to do that on Thursday, but I've got an hour today. I'm gonna do that now.
You don't lose sight of it.
And you don't lose sight of it, and it's there, and it's a constant reminder, but it's allowing you to choose your tasks and when you do them. And I just find that the productivity, the collaboration has increased immensely.
Well, there you have it. Microsoft To-Do Planner and Teams and some real-world scenarios. There's a whole bunch of other apps we're going to get into in later videos, but for today, I just want to open up to the crowd here to see if you have any questions. Please put them into chat, and we'll do our best to answer.
Actually, we do have a question that came in from PJ. Where he's asking, where do we find the My Day? So the question that came in was, is it part of 365 or is it part of Outlook? It's part of To-Do. To-Do is an app. There's an app that you can get for your phone. There's an app that can be downloaded in Windows Desktop, Mac, or whatever else. And when you do that, the actual My Day is part of that particular app that you're using. You can access it on the web. There's a desktop app and there's the mobile app. So if you go ahead and onto your Windows Store, your Apple Store, whatever it is, and download that, you'll see that the first page that you come across is My Day. And from there, you can start playing about it.
I actually use My Day so you can put My Day in a variety of places. I enjoy it so I just installed Windows 11, but you can do it with Windows 10. As soon as I come in the morning, I see it right on my start menu. So it's the first thing I look at every morning. But I also have it on my iPhone. Microsoft's made it, you can stick it anywhere widget-wise, and it's just designed to be that, that quick little thing in your face that you can manage what you're doing. So yeah, it's all over.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a first stop point, as Cam says. You can actually set it as a widget on the front of your phone, so if you pick it from, this is what I have to do. It's really handy, so definitely recommend try that out. We have a question in which is an interesting one, and somebody's thinking ahead. Question was asked whether Planner can be converted to project in project, and obviously, you get these scenarios where you start out with, you have a to-do item for today. And then you realize this isn't something that I can do myself. So you get 2 or 3 people
you don't want
involved.
to do it yourself.
Or you don't want to. There's other people who know better. And you go ahead and you create a plan in Planner. And then somebody comes along who knows even better. We have a couple of people in the office who I know are quite capable of turning any plan into a project, because they'll tell me, no, that's not as simple as you thought it was going to be. So if you'd asked this question 6 months ago, I would have gone, no, actually, then you couldn't. It was To-Do and it was Planner. But actually now, Microsoft recently released the opportunity to turn a task that is a task in To-Do or Planner into a task in Project, and you can migrate plans out of planner into project. So you can start from very small and grow this right up. So it's really handy.
Yeah,
It's really convenient.
and the nice part is the things that are tagged to the individual tasks, notes, and then anything else, it actually, let's call it, evolves from to-do to planner to project. So
Yeah.
if it gets more complex and more fine-grained, you can dig all the way down.
Yeah, you can follow it all the way through. I mean, it's what you want to do. I mean, when you're starting out using Microsoft Project, I think you mentioned it earlier on a chat that it's one of those things that you need a PMP in order to run. Whereas if you start it out as a to-do, that then becomes a plan, that then moves up into project, it can actually evolve through the company into the different people who know what they're dealing with. So by the time it ends up being a project, it's something that your project manager is already aware of. All the information's there, and it just makes life a lot simpler. And these things, I mean, everything evolves these days, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just it allows you to do it that way.
Anything else?
No, that's actually, we just got a couple of questions this time, so that covers everything.
So I wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you took away some valuable information today, and hope to see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.